You are listening to the Southwestern American Choral Directors Association Connections podcast, where we will interview choral directors, leaders, and movers and shakers within our region. I'm your host, Dr. Jeff Wall. We hope you enjoy these conversations. Please like and subscribe this YouTube channel for future content. Hi, friends. One last interview here for our R&R chairs. After this, we will be shortening these episodes to more digestible bits, being a little more respectful of your time, hopefully, and we'll lead into the Albuquerque 2026 conference. We're super excited about that. Hope you had a great time at ACDA National in Dallas. And if you didn't join us there, then we know and hope that you will join us in Albuquerque. It's going to be a great conference. And we have intercession submission proposal deadlines coming up. And also the performing choir deadline submission coming up. So keep an eye on the socials and on the website and get those in, because we really want to make this a great conference and we want you to be a part of it. Now, today I'm going to bring you Leia Browning. Leia's been began teaching in 2004. And after coming to Rockwall High School in 2012, she's become increasingly excited to work in the world of a cappella. She's our education coordinator for the National A Cappella Convention and also our Repertoire and Resources Chair for Contemporary Commercial Music for Southwestern ACDA. Leia has a BME from the University of North Texas. She attended Louisiana State University, where she studied musical theater. Browning has been teaching high school choir for 18 years, as I mentioned. 7 years at South Garland High School, and is in her 11th year here at Rockwall High School in Texas. So super excited to talk to Leia today. I hope you enjoy this conversation, and see you soon. Okay, hi everybody. We are here again today for another episode of this podcast to bring you an episode with Leia Browning. We are going to get right into this so that Leia can get back to her meetings and try to blast through these questions. So apologize if we go a little bit fast, but here we go. Leia, it's so good to see you again. Welcome to the podcast. Can you tell us a little bit about your backstory and musical upbringing?
So I went to school in San Antonio. I went to high school at MacArthur and Reagan, the first graduating class of Reagan with Joe Scarlock-Dillard. So I had a wonderful high school experience. We did multiple conventions, National ACDA, a couple of TMEAs, and a SWACDA, I think. And so I, right off the bat, just had this amazing high school experience and went into college thinking that I wanted to perform, and then ended up being kind of pulled back into the education realm. I went to LSU for a year and then ended up transferring to UNT so that I could get my certification there, and went directly into teaching after I graduated in December of 2004. It's too long ago. December of 2004, went into teaching the next full school year at South Garland High School in the Garland ISD, and taught there for 7 years. And then moved over to Rockwall ISD, and I am at Rockwall High School, and I've been here ever since. And this is year 20.
Wow, thanks for that quick overview. Yeah, can you tell me a little bit about your foray into the world of a cappella? How did that start?
So in 2015, I was actually on maternity leave, and one of my amazing sub, Nancy Farrell, I said, hey, the kids have been doing just kind of music with tracks and things like that. Why don't you see if they like a cappella? And so I handed her a pentatonics arrangement of Run to You, and just said, if they like it, great. If not, no big deal. And she sent me a recording of them singing it, and they loved it. And I was like, And about a year before, a friend of mine from high school, actually, who was a colleague down in San Antonio, had been doing a cappella and said, you should compete. And I was like, oh, I don't know anything about that world. And so anyway, while I was on maternity leave, they loved it so much that the second I got back, it was like late September, and I went ahead and entered them. I think the deadline was like October 15th or something like that. So we had about a week or two to get a video ready, and kind of the rest is history. And they've been doing it since 2015. 2015 is when we first entered. So about 10 years. But it's just every year it's just gotten better and bigger, and especially in Texas. And we're really loving the direction that it's growing.
That's awesome. Yeah. I guess point to take away there is, in my previous conversation prior to Denver with JD and now with you as well, is that, anybody can get into this,
Yeah.
and without knowing much about it, you have to take that first step and then you start learning. So that's great.
Yep. Jump
Okay,
in.
so tell us now a little bit more about your role with SWACDA, with Southwestern ACDA. What are you going to be doing for us, and what are you most excited about for that?
Well, I guess I need to get some sessions going. We were we did a big honor choir for SWACDA last year in Denver, and it was amazing. But they have decided to do a jazz honor choir this year, which I think is super exciting. I'm loving that SWACDA is kind of like looking into all the different vocal arts. So what I'll be doing is just creating some really like informative sessions for people to attend while in Albuquerque, and then I'll be around just helping out wherever I can. But yeah, I'm excited to hopefully bring in some really cool clinicians for people to learn from.
Yeah, that's going to be great. Yeah, one of the purposes of these podcasts is so that people can get to know you a little bit better and be less apprehensive about approaching you for repertoire resources,
Yeah.
that kind of thing, and kind of know what you're going to be doing for the conference as well. But you're our R&R chair for contemporary a cappella, so maybe that was already intuitive from the questions we've already been
Hopefully,
talking
yeah.
about. But yeah, but okay. So what's a piece of music that you think best embodies your personality? Doesn't have to
Man,
be choral or anything.
yeah, I was thinking about this right before, and I said, like, honestly, right now, it's like 9 to 5 by Dolly Parton. I just feel like I'm working all the time. I have my hand in probably too many things right now. I'm a choral director. I'm also the department head. And then I have NAC in 2 days, which is the National A Cappella Convention, and I'm the education director for that. And so we're moving hotels, resorts this year. And so it's, kind of just getting last minute details ready to go for that. So I leave for that in 2 days. Things with SWACDA also, and then I run my own a cappella festival called Architects, which thankfully was over in December. But then also my group, Walk the Line, just won their ICHSA semifinal, and so I'm preparing for them to go to New York City and perform at the national finals. And so all of the travel plans are happening at the moment. And then I'm also trying to, in 2 summers, get a group to go to Europe. And so we have a big meeting tonight. And I don't know, I just do too many things. So I guess that's my work. I guess I do it to myself working. It's probably more like 9 to 8. But
Right. No, I get that. That's a great choice too, especially for the busyness that you just related. And I think a lot of us can relate to what you just said too. Just being a choral directors, that's the nature of what we do. We
yeah.
tend to dip our toes into too many pools of water. Um, but yeah, we can commiserate.
Yeah, I just have a hard time saying no when it comes to like bringing opportunities to kids. So I hope I do a good job at the things that I'm doing and that I don't have to step down, but it's enjoyable. It's just a lot.
Absolutely, absolutely. Well, I think we all feel what you're feeling right now. So, okay. So, what's your deserted island choral piece? Like only one that you could have with you for a little bit of time before you get saved.
I think that the piece that I go back to every time I'm able to with for Texas, it's every 4 years you can bring a piece to contest. Um, and the piece that like I sang in high school, I sang it in college. I used it for my conducting um uh, I don't know what they even call them anymore. Demonstration piece is "Sing Me to Heaven" by Gothrop, and it's just, I think it just brings back really good memories of all the different stages of my choral career, and we're actually doing it this year, so it's been enjoyable to teach the kids this year, and my own son happens to be in my choir this year, and so he's getting to sing it for the first time, and it's just kind of, I don't know, a thread through all of the stages of life for me. So probably that one.
Yeah, I love that piece, and you're not the first to suggest it. knowing Dan a little bit, having met him, that's the one he's most known for. But I will
Yeah.
say, dig a little deeper, go into his catalog because he's got so many other great compositions too. He's not just Sing Me to Heaven. So, but that is a beautiful piece. The text relates so much to what we feel, and so yeah, I love that. Okay, let's keep going. Do you have a particular philosophy of programming?
So I think I tend to err on like just upbeat if I can and unique. And so like when I'm programming, I tend to think a lot less about like, well, I need one from this time period and this. I mean, I just want to do music that I like and that people like to listen to. And then every once in a while, we go back to like, hey, they really need to do, a Vivaldi or a Handel or something like, Mozart. But I think the majority of my programming is just based on what is beautiful or what is moving or what is exciting or what are they going to want to rehearse, because those are the things that make rehearsals enjoyable. So I don't really have any rules. I don't know, I love to plan, so I put many programs together and then play them for the kids and see which one they latch onto.
Right. Well, I think that is a process that you just laid out for us. Sing and program what you like and what gels with you and with your singers, what you think they're going to like, and then you pepper in the things that you know that they need, the steady diet
Yeah.
of Vivaldi, Mozart, or whatever it is. Um, so yeah, I think that's what we're all trying to do. Maybe I'm wrong about that, but I
Yeah.
think
Well,
we're
and
all trying to do that.
I think they get a lot of the tried and trues or the meat and potatoes when they do the all region process, the all state process. They get a lot of that. And so I like to pick things that they wouldn't get anywhere else. So, just to make it more interesting. So they have a wide variety for each year.
Yeah, absolutely. Good method there. Okay, well, what would you describe how a typical rehearsal might look like under your direction? If we were to walk into your classroom with your singers, what are we going to see?
Are we talking about traditional choral or a cappella?
Since you're our a cappella chair, let's go with a cappella.
Yeah, it's very different. I'm sure my regular classrooms run, the way that most people run, but a cappella is different in that you have extra elements of, well, first of all, you have a lot more parts typically than you would have in just an SATB or even a DVC group. We will have anywhere with 15 singers. We have one vocal percussionist, one bass, and then the rest of them are kind of all singing maybe 6 to 7 parts. And so there's a lot of um, making sure that all the chords are locking in. So one of the way that we do our rehearsals is JD Frizzell's 5-step method. So they do a lot of step one is listening on their own, very similar to the way they would learn for TMEA All State with part tracks. And so the first thing is just for them to get their part 100% solid, memorized, basically. And then we ask them also to run that through a different lens of another part. So, sing your part with the bass line, sing your part with the alto line, things like that. So they are doing a lot behind the scenes, either at home or sometimes in class. I will give them time. If we just have barely gotten an arrangement, we'll say go step one, and then they're putting a earbud in and just learning their part. And then step two is getting like textures together. So, things that are held or things that are rhythmically the same. Step three is circle singing and just working through all the musicality of things. Step four is their favorite, which is the things that are non-musical. So like your choreography, you're talking about the text. What does this mean? And like drawing connections between each of your songs so that they can really understand like what's the message we're trying to get out. And then step five, we don't do as much as we probably should, but it's just getting out into the community or into the school and singing without mics, without anything, without choreography, just singing for people, which is called informal performance. And so once you've gone through all of those steps, and it's usually like one step a day or maybe one step every couple of days, then you have a piece that's basically ready to be nitpicked to death. And so the rest of what we do is literally nitpicking it until we can't nitpick it anymore. And then hopefully we're ready for that competition. So yeah, it's very different than the way I would teach a choral class of 75 or something like that. It is very putting it back on the kids, putting the ownership of all the pieces of the puzzle back on the kids. I do a lot more, like, I call it producing, than I do like actually teaching all of those things, because they need to take ownership of it, because they're going to live with 3 songs for about an entire year basically. So
Right. Well, I think there's something to be said in that process to be used in the traditional choral classroom as well. But you outlined those steps for us there. Thank you for that. It's been a while since I've talked to JD, and I don't have an a cappella group myself right now. I used to have a student-led one, but that I just kind of had oversight on. But are those steps published somewhere, or on his website, or in a book, or something like that you know of?
I'm sure they are somewhere. I feel like maybe on the AEA website there was an article. I've also put it in my SWACDA article that was just published on how to start an a cappella group. It's not in like super detailed form, but those basic steps are definitely in my SWACDA
Oh, that's
article. So
perfect. Yeah, I probably saw that and I just forgot about it. So that in the that's the SWACDA Connections publication,
yes.
or is that it? Awesome?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Okay, so yeah, when those folks, when those come to your email, make sure you click on those through, so you can open up that magazine and read Leah's contribution there and see those steps. That's awesome.
Yep.
Okay, perfect. What pointers might you have for an emerging choral leader, somebody that's just kind of new to the field?
So I feel like you can almost do anything as long as you have those basic principles. You've got to know how to warm up a class. You've got to know how to work your sight reading process. You have to know how to pick your lit. All the things that you're kind of like baptized by fire, I feel like, when you get a job. I think everybody needs to know those basics and to not feel like uh, other people won't reach out and help, or you need to reach out probably to people to get the help, but don't feel embarrassed by it at all. I know that I was only an assistant director for 2 years at South Garland, and then I've been a head director since year 3. And I know that the first year that I was a head director, I felt like really lost and I needed mentors and things like that. So I think you know, don't slack on the piano proficiency. Like, you really need to be able just to do some basic warm-ups, be able to play parts for kids. Read everything that you can read, but also like pick up the phone and call someone and talk through a sight reading process. Like, how do you do this? Because it's so much easier, I feel, to just be able to ask questions rather than to try and read an article that sometimes has language that is just boring to read. And then, have invite people to come listen and watch and give you pointers, and don't feel like, always feel like the feedback is there to help you, and it's not to, make you feel ashamed for what you don't know.
Yeah, those are great. Great tips. And you listed out some hard skills and some soft skills that, unfortunately, even as a collegiate director, I can say there's not enough time in the curriculum
Yeah.
to hit everything that you need to know. And some of these things are baptism by fire, as you mentioned. But find yourself mentors around you, and if there are not mentors around you, then call Leah, call our repertoire and resource chairs, and reach out by email, or I mean, there's so many people that are willing to help you, and invite people in your classroom. Those are awesome.
And this is all of our passions, like, so we love to talk shop. And when somebody calls me about a cappella, I will sit there on the phone with them for an hour and answer all of their questions. And they're just like, "Oh, I'm so sorry to take up your time." I'm like, "No, this is my favorite thing." So please just know that almost everybody feels that way, and we want to talk shop with you.
Yeah, and same for me. Call me if you have something. I teach music educators, future music educators, all the time. And if it's something that I don't know, I probably know somebody who does. So yeah, that's awesome. Okay, this kind of relates, but this can be general advice. It doesn't have to be musical advice. But what advice might you give yourself if you had a time machine and were able to go back to your 16-year-old self and tell yourself something, what might you say?
Man, I I think I wouldn't say too much to change things because I really do like the way things turned out. I mean, sometimes we get on this, like, man, I wish I made more money or I wish I had more time or whatever. But really, like every time I think that I've thought about looking for a different job or career for any one of those, eh, you know, any one of those things, I've come back to, oh, but I just wouldn't be me. I wouldn't be the same if I wasn't doing what I'm doing. And so I think I'd just encourage my 16-year-old self to keep doing what I was doing and, go where the doors open because there's reasons for walking through all the doors that are open and not the ones that are closed.
Yeah, I think you just highlighted something that kills that question, which I think is great. The whole Back to the Future conundrum with Marty
Mhm.
McFly. Our younger emerging teachers are not going to know that. So, yeah, go back to the movie. Go back
Yeah,
to the movie and read, watch. What happens when you impact the past or the future, and
it's
know
not a
that
good thing.
where you are is where you're supposed to be based on all the things that happened to you before.
Have
So,
you ever read The Midnight Library?
no, I don't know that.
It's I don't read that much, but somebody recommended the book to me, and it's basically it kind of brings in some like quantum theory like into it, like interstellar kind of. There's a little bit of that in there, but mostly it's about a girl who's like really upset and thinks that she should have made different decisions, and this midnight library basically allows her to go live every life she kind of wanted to live, and she lives hundreds of lives within this time frame, and then she basically ends up that like I was actually in the place I was supposed to be all along. But it's a really cool book, and it's not very long, and it's not hard to read. It's not a lot of science, but it's very interesting. So I go back to that book a lot when I'm like, should I be somewhere else? And I'm like, nope, nope, midnight library, I should be right where I am.
Yeah, that's great. Yeah, there's been a lot of storylines that way, and I go back to my, comic book youth of the multiverse,
Hmm.
that you see in all the Marvel movies and everything else now. So, all right, that's cool.
Yeah.
Well, this kind of relates, but okay. So, time machine. Now your 90-year-old self is coming back to give yourself some advice from where you are right now. What do you think your 90-year-old self might say? And you may have the same answer.
I think I would tell myself to try and enjoy it a little bit more. It does go by really fast. I can't believe I'm in year 20. I feel like I just graduated college yesterday sometimes. And I have two kids, and sometimes I have the mom guilt of, I'm going on this trip and they're not with me, or I'm going for all these late night rehearsals or Zoom meetings or whatever it is, and I can't be with them all the time. And so I definitely have mom guilt on a lot of that. But I think in the end, I feel like my job is bringing happiness to a lot of people who wouldn't necessarily have that if they didn't have choir or they didn't have a cappella or whatever it is. And so I think I would just maybe tell myself to slow down a little bit and enjoy it and quit having so much guilt because it's kind of what you are meant to be. I don't know.
No, I love that. Yeah, I agree. Passage of time goes by quickly, and I've started to judge time now by hairs and pounds. So it's as you can see, it's gone by quickly.
Yeah.
Uh, okay, great. I'm gonna skip this next question and go straight to a four-person tag team, kind of in a WWE style match of choral directors in clinic or session. So, who are three other choral directors you'd like in your corner that you can tag in?
Um, I think the first one would be my mentor in choral music, which would be Joe Scurlock Dillard. She's a feisty little lady, and she's always been the one to kind of encourage me, when I was down about something or I thought I wasn't good at something. She'd be like, no, 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 you keep going, like we all go through this. So I think I would pick her. She's also been, in every leadership role just about, and continues to do women's community choir in San Antonio. And I just really look up to her for being just a wonderful person and encourager, but also, she's been everything to everyone for such a long time. I think I would also pick JD, because JD has been one of my biggest a cappella mentors. There have been many. I did not know what I was doing, and I reached out to a lot of different people. But the summer that I met JD, I think it was 2018, and we were doing like a retreat in the Boston area. And at the end of the time, like kind of everybody went around the circle and said things about, each other. And JD's, message to me was just very, taken very much to heart. And I just kind of feel like we're on the same path. He does way more than I do. And, is kind of leading the charge for all of us. But I feel like, at least for Texas and for maybe the Southwest now, I feel like I'm able to kind of follow in his footsteps, and he mentors me in many things a cappella. So I'd probably choose Joe and JD. And then I think I would maybe even pick Dr. Murdoch. We're not as close, like we don't know each other in the same way that I know the other two, but something I really admire about Dr. Murdoch is just how inclusive he is, and how we also met at National A Cappella Convention when he was doing the honor choir, and he was just so interested in everything we did and so open to it, and just thought it was all really great, and then gave me the opportunity to do that honor choir at his SWACDA last year. And yeah, so I think I want to be like him. Just so talented and, so sought after. And so I think he just has a lot to offer the world in so many different realms.
Yeah, I agree as a friend, and and knowing some of these folks that you mentioned, and seeing their work. I don't think you could choose a lot of people, but you can't go wrong with these three. So
Yeah.
that's great. And just really quick, want to go back to what you said earlier about, stopping to kind of take stock of where you are, what you're doing, and appreciate it, and not just let it go by. I feel like we all do that as choral directors. We don't appreciate all the work and stuff that we put in. We put in all the work, and then we don't take time to really enjoy it and love it and appreciate it. Yeah, we love it, but we're such givers that we do it for everybody else, that
Yeah.
we forget sometimes the impact it's having on us, and just to sit with it for a minute. So
Well, there's always something coming next, like there's never like this is, or at least to me, it feels like, okay, I'm doing this concert right now, but UIL is around the corner, or, tomorrow we have a show and I've got to make sure I've got the sound equipment, and I'm like, my brain just starts going
mhm.
on to the next like task on the list, and it's really hard,
Yeah, it
especially
is. I give
people that do
myself
a
a
lot
day.
of stuff.
Yeah, I give myself a day, and I tell my students this too. We've hit the mountaintop of whatever performance we're doing, and then that just allows us to see the valley and the next mountaintop that's coming. And so then you start to worry about, oh, I've got to traverse through that valley. But just to stand on the mountaintop for a minute and take in the view
Yeah.
is really important. So yeah, that's great. And I think we're all in similar boats there. And I think if there's any takeaway, it's that you're not alone. We're all kind of feeling that. So that's great. Okay, so related to that, what do you do to relax or fight burnout?
What's that?
Right.
Honestly, like I have to schedule it. Well, I wouldn't say that. Like on the daily, at the end of the day, I really do try to sit down on the couch and watch a show. Um, my family is pretty good about, either watching it with me or allowing me to have like an hour, maybe two, even if it ends up being a little bit late at night. Like I need to decompress and watch something that has nothing to do with music. We just finished Severance, and that's like like something that just takes your mind off of the daily. But then if we're talking about like what I would do if it was like more of a vacation type thing, or what activity I would do, we're a family of fishermen, so I fish a lot. um, and I say a lot meaning like a few times a year.
So
We try to
are
get.
we talking like deep sea or like lake fishing or bass? What are we talking about?
So we do a little bit of the lake pond fishing up here. We've gone out with some with some guides to try and do some, crappie fishing or whatever with the kids. But we really like the sea fishing, not deep sea. It's more like pier fishing or like off the dock fishing. But yeah, we just got back from Galveston. Normally we go down to Rockport because that's like basically like where we grew up. Like every time there was a weekend or a break or whatever, we would go down there, but it's so far from Dallas. It's like 9 hours. So we tried Galveston this time, and I'm actually wearing my Galveston t-shirt. But yeah, like we had a great time. Like the kids are really enjoying it, and so many species to catch in the sea, so that's always exciting. But yeah, fishing, isn't that weird?
No, it's not weird at all. Well, I mean, my hobbies are weird too, compared to most choral directors. So
Yeah.
I can't talk. Yeah. Yeah, but everybody has to have their thing, and I love that
Yeah.
that's your thing. So that's cool. Um, who is another choral musician that you might like to lift up who doesn't get the attention you think they deserve?
uh Man, there are so many. And I think I would probably have to go with my colleague across the way, across Rockwall. Her name's Lauren Smith. She is, I think she's in maybe year 10 or so, but she runs Architects with me. And we also host things together if we're able. But we work really well together on the staff of Architects, and then also her group is called Infinity, and they are amazing. And she brought them from not doing a cappella at all to being near national champions the past few years. And I just think she's a wonderful director, and she's a good friend. And maybe just, kind of flies under the radar because she doesn't, put herself out there on anything, but I think she's wonderful. So if anybody wants to talk a cappella with Lauren Smith, she's great too. But yeah, that's who I'd choose, I think.
Yeah, that's great. And I said this before, but selfishly, I asked that question, not only this one, but the one about your tag team, because if they're folks that I don't know, I like to get onto those folks so I can, follow their work and see what great things they're doing in the world and see if I can learn from them. Hopefully, everybody feels that too. So, Lauren Smith, Rockwall ISD, is
Yep,
that correct?
Rockwall Heath High School. Yep.
Heath High
So
School.
I'm at
Awesome.
Rockwall High School, and she's at Rockwall Heath High School. So
Oh, nice. Okay, perfect. Um, now I have a little Accelerando round. It's kind of a quick fire. You don't have to think
okay.
too hard about these. Most of them don't have anything to do with choral music at all.
Oh,
So,
good. Okay.
yeah, except maybe this first one. What's the worst job you ever had outside of choral music?
Substituting.
Okay, substituting.
Horrible. Unless they're veteran teachers, like retired teachers, man, subbing is so hard.
It is. That's a hard gig. Okay, what's your guilty pleasure bad food to eat?
Mm, Probably cheesecake, ice cream. I don't know. It's hard to choose. I don't do it very often, but yeah, I can hardly ever pass up ice cream or cheesecake.
Ice cream or cheesecake? Okay, what's your favorite flavor of ice cream or cheesecake?
Ice cream, I usually go the Jimmy Fallon Tonight Dough. It's by Ben and Jerry's. It's got
Mhm.
cookie dough and brownie batter dough in it, and so good. But yeah, it's called the Tonight Dough. Give it a try. Um, and then cheesecake, I'm just plain and simple, just
Regular New York style
regular
cheesecake.
New York, maybe with a little strawberry drizzle, but definitely just plain is my jam.
Gotcha. Awesome. Yeah, makes me hungry right now for something. Um, and it's too early in the morning. Okay,
Mhm.
if you had to do any other job besides being a musician of some kind, what would that be?
I honestly think that I would be either like on the coast or in the mountains or just in a place that I really liked, and I would, probably work at a coffee shop or a bookstore or something where it's just like low key, quiet. You talk to the people that come in, chit chat, and then go home. And get to be in whatever nature you want to be in. Like just something like super low key. I think because this job is so high stress, I like choose the opposite.
Yeah, I think about that sometimes too, just kind of being somewhere beautiful and working enough just to pay your bills and then,
Yeah.
enjoying everything around.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Okay. You talked a little bit about Severance earlier, but what's a movie or TV show you think everyone should watch at least once?
Hmm. I think my favorite TV show of all time, it probably is still The Walking Dead. I love the post-apocalyptic shows. The Last of Us is really good as well. So I think any of those things that help like teach survival skills or at least make you appreciate what the normal world is doing for you, I think are great. So yeah, post-apocalyptic all the way.
Okay. So if the zombie apocalypse happens tomorrow, what's
Mhm.
the first thing you do?
Get out of the city. It's always worse in the city. You got to
Right.
get to some kind of self-sustainable piece of farmland or something. A lot of people have luck in like abandoned schools and things like that because they do have a little bit of everything right there for you. Have a cafeteria and they have, you know, fences usually and things like that. But yeah, I think probably first I'm headed out to the country where there are animals and fences.
Yeah, good choice. I think
Maybe
that's
And
yeah,
maybe a
that's
a firearm to protect myself.
mhm. Well, you are in Texas, so that shouldn't be too hard.
They're everywhere around here.
That's right. Yeah, well, I'm in Oklahoma, same deal.
Yeah.
Um, okay, what's something you spend way too much money on?
Probably I really do. I try not to, but I do get on like an Amazon kick every once in a while where I just go and look at what they suggest and I'm like, "Ooh, I could take that." And nothing is expensive. But it's many inexpensive things and then I'm good about like not returning everything, but hey, if it doesn't work out, it goes right back and the money's right back and it's pretty nice. I think the second thing would be shoes. I'm not like a girly girl like that likes heels, but I like tennis shoes. I have a lot of Nikes and just like to be comfortable, some Hey Dudes, things like that. So bring me the shoes.
Heck yeah, yeah. I am in the comfort phase of my life where I tell people I'm in the Costco pants part of my
Mhm.
life where it's nothing but comfort, cheap but functionality. So yeah, I get that completely.
Yeah, our principal is pretty cool. Like he comes up with reasons for us to wear jeans, and so they don't ever come and bother me anyway. So I just kind of wear jeans and t-shirts every day.
That's awesome, living the dream there. Okay, what's the scariest moment of your life, or you can choose that, or what's your biggest phobia?
It's funny, my fiance says all the time, "Oh, I'm scared to death of this." And I'm like, I'm not scared of that. And I I don't have very many phobias, like not any that I like think about often. I mean, obviously, like there are some ways to die that I would not choose. But I don't really have any like phobias. Like I don't care about bugs, I don't care about snakes. I don't really have any phobias. Um that I can think of that are, debilitating at least. I just I think that my brain moves too fast to like sit and think about any one thing for long enough to be scared of it. So yeah, I don't know. I'm not like I'm not scared of anything. I am woman, hear me roar. I'm nothing like that. I think I just don't think about it.
Too busy to think
Honest
about
answer?
being
I don't
scared.
know. I'm not
Yep,
scared of anything that I can
that's great.
articulate.
No, that's great. Um, okay, what's a secret talent that most people might be surprised to learn about you?
Uh, I also don't have secret talents. I think people like I don't know if it's a skill or not, but I think I am pretty good at reading people. I'm kind of into the Enneagram. Do you know anything about the
Yeah,
Enneagram?
yeah, yeah. I know about the Enneagram.
Um, I've read a lot about it because my former assistant Parker Lessman got me into it, and I teach on it sometimes. Um, so I think it's just super interesting because it seems to like really work for most people. Like if if I can help you figure out what you are, you can it's not manipulation as much as it is just like giving grace to people for being just different than you. So yeah, I think I would say, if you want to talk Enneagram, I'm always
Okay, so
up
what's
for.
what's your Enneagram?
I think most of us are threes.
Yeah,
Threes
yeah.
are the ambitious, performer. They're actually called the performer. But the people that, are always trying to perform for the fact that they want people to admire them. So I think a lot of us that are, in leadership positions, or especially who have been doing the same, maybe choir directing job for 20 years. I mean, we all kind of, are trying to get to that next step, climb the ladder or whatever. So a lot of us, I think, are threes. Yeah. What are you? Do you know?
I did it a while back, and I know I'm a three. I think it was six as well. It was either six or seven. I think it was six, but I can't remember.
Yeah. So they
I'm,
say
I'm
that.
more about I'm more about the big five. The big five of psychiatry, psychology. Um, do you know about the big five? I'm trying to
Uh-uh.
think. It's like openness. Um, now I'm gonna blank on it.
I'll
I'll
look it
look it
up.
up here in a minute. Yeah, I'll look it up here in a minute.
Send
Um,
it.
okay, so what is the oldest thing in your fridge?
Hmm.
While you're thinking,
Probably.
here it is: openness, conscientiousness, extroversion, agreeableness, and neuroticism. Your scale on those big five.
Okay. I've never heard of that one, but I'll have to give that one a go. I'm sure that in our fridge, there's probably some things that need to be thrown out, but I'm pretty good about, like, I'm weirded out by food-borne illness and things like that. Maybe that's a fear that I have, is like getting food poisoning from something that has gone bad. So I'm pretty good about cleaning that out. But I mean, we probably have a mustard or something in there that's been there forever. Mustard. I think the only thing that doesn't ever go bad is honey. Wouldn't be in the fridge, but things like mustard and pickles and things in vinegar, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah, yeah, it's a dumb question, but it's it's part
What's
of
the
this
oldest thing
cello.
in your fridge?
Oh, probably the Polynesian sauce from Chick-fil-A. That's
Oh
yeah,
yeah, we probably have a few sauces in there that need to go.
yeah. So lots of condiment stuff. We also have a thing in the back of the fridge that's like salsa. I have too
Mm,
many jars of salsa because I try them too
yeah,
many
we're
different
the
two different
same,
ones. Yeah.
especially from
Um,
Texas. You got to have the salt.
yeah. Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. And I'm from Dallas, so that
Oh,
tracks.
perfect.
Um, okay. Let's see. If you could have any superpower, what would it be?
Oh, I think it would be like teleportation. I've always been like somebody who wants to see the world, and if I could just teleport there and walk around for a little bit and then teleport somewhere else, I mean, I think that would be the best thing. And I don't think it would be flying, because I feel like flying would just take too long, and like I'd just like to be there immediately.
Yeah. Yeah. People choose flying, I think, for the experience of actual flying, not for the getting there part.
Yeah.
And teleportation is cool because you can see many things in a short amount of time. I think
Yeah.
that's great. And
And then
being
if
the
someone comes after you during a zombie apocalypse, you can teleport to a safe place.
yeah,
So,
just blip out of there. That's it's
oh,
great.
see, it's all connected.
Absolutely, absolutely. Okay, so here's the last question for the Accelerando round. If you could have any message, a short phrase, or a word on a billboard for thousands of people to see, what would it say?
Oh, I have to steal from Joe Skurlock. Her favorite word is joy, and I think that that's the best word also. Um, I just I wish there was more joy in the world. I think we'd have a lot less problems if people would just lean into joy.
Yeah, I love that. That's great. All right, congratulations, you achieved Tempo Presto. That's the Accelerando round. Whoop, whoop. Okay, what are your goals for? You talked a little bit about what's going on in your life right now, but for maybe next year, next season, what are you most looking forward to that's coming up?
We have lots coming up. I spoke already about the kids going to New York to go to finals. So there are 7 regions, and the top the top school from each region gets to go to New York and then participate in the finals. And we've never won. We've been second and we've been fourth. So, you know, last weekend of April, we will be in New York City at Town Hall, competing in that.
Well,
We
we'll be cheering you on for that.
Thank you. Yes. NAC is this week, so that's always one of my favorite times of year is to do the National A Cappella Convention. There's just people from all over. It's not we love architects too. That's my festival, but like with NAC, it's people from all over the country that I don't necessarily already know, and it's great networking. And so that's coming up. We're also finishing up our fourth album right now. Like I'm in the final revision stages. We were hoping we would have it out by Christmas, but just life gets in the way and you don't get everything done on the timeline you would like to get it done. So I'm final revision and mastering stages for our fourth album should be coming out. Yeah, and then for the next school year, you know, we kind of just start all over and do it again. So you have the all-state process, you have the beginning of the ICHSA competition if we decide to do that again, and you know, of course, our own festival architects. And again, just it's like a cycle. You just do it all over again because every single piece has value, and you know, we want to keep giving more kids the experience. So yeah, that's pretty much it.
I love that. And you've, you know, it seems like your career, your life, you know, revolves around experiences for your students and for others and for your singers. And I don't ask this very often, but you know, and maybe they're one and the same, and you
Mhm.
can answer that way if you want. But what are personal ambitions for you? Like, what about just for you? Are you most looking forward to?
I think I am looking forward to retirement, even though it seems like it's so far away. Like I have 9 years officially left, and I don't know if I'll continue to work after that. But I would like to possibly go into admin, whether that's with my current district or somewhere else. But I'd like to be able to like help mentor teachers. I would even like to get into like a college situation where I'm mentoring newer teachers. I think, like you said, like it's so hard to get through everything. For the next generation, I would love to be a mentor. But yeah, I mean, also the you know next 5 to 9 years, I guess, would be you know things that we just haven't accomplished yet. But yeah, I'm not done. But I'm also looking forward to having a more relaxed um, environment.
Well, I've been in administration too. I don't think you can look forward to more relaxed as an administrator, um,
Oh, for
but
sure. I think
it's still
one is
something to
more
look forward
like,
to. That's great.
yeah, one is more just kind of helping the next generation and then being able to relax. So
Yeah, I get that. Yeah, but you're a helper, and I can see that. So yeah, I appreciate that about you. Okay, where can people go to connect with you to learn more about your work? It can be Instagram or social media or website or email. How can people get in touch?
I honestly, Facebook is the best if you want to just like see stuff because that's where I post stuff. It is supposed to be connected to Instagram, but I feel like Instagram picks and chooses what it wants to post from my Facebook. But I don't get on Instagram at all because I don't understand it. I am not good at posting on Instagram. Do not message me through Instagram because I will probably not see it. But email, it's just my name, leiabrowning@gmail.com. So all one word, Leia, like Princess Leia, browning.com. Sorry, at gmail.com. We do have a choir website, which is jacketchoir.com if you want to see like all the choir stuff. And then of course, all of our groups have the Facebooks and Instagrams and all the things. So my group is called Walk the Line. They also have a YouTube channel if you want to check them out. But yeah, anyway, the best way is probably email. I'm like on email 24/7. So yeah, email me or Facebook me, you know, comment on something and we can connect.
Awesome. Well, we'll put your Jacket Choir website in the description of the video and any other pertinent links that you've mentioned. So I'll not put your email in there unless I disguise it so that the bots don't find you and spam you. But
Thank
um,
you.
right. But you know, thanks for joining me today. Have a little conversation with me, and I want to be
Yeah.
respectful of your time. So um, So yeah, just really glad we got some great insights from you today. So thanks.
Yeah, thanks for having me. And I look forward to seeing everybody in Albuquerque.
Absolutely. Albuquerque 2026, New Horizons. Let's go.